indie games would probably have to be at its biggest that it's ever been, at the peak, not just in terms of like the amount that there is, but I'd also say in the quality that indie games are at right now as well. You know, indie games have been around for a long time. They've probably been around, especially like in, you know, the mainstream. Indie games have probably been big in the last, I'd say, 10 years. You know, Binding of Isaac, to me at least personally, from what I can really remember, is like the first indie game that really like kicked it off and was like the first indie game to really succeed in like a big market and garner a really big audience. And ever since then, indie games have just skyrocketed, and the quality for them have fucking increased as well. And when it comes to the development of all these indie games, there is one engine that all these indie developers have gone to because it's been cheap to use. It's been very easy to use. It's very accessible. You know, the Unreal Engine is, you know, a lot more, you know, difficult to use, and it can be a lot more expensive as well. And then you got something like the Frostbite engine, which you actually have to pay for. So that's, you know, really only, you know, for people, you know, I think it's DICE. Yeah, DICE are the ones who make the Frostbite engine. So really, it's only them that use it, or people that are willing to fork out that money to want to pay for it. So Unity has been the one every single developer has gone towards. But now it fucking looks like shit's gonna change, because Unity's now come out with the most money hungry and most bullshit thing that they could have done to monetize and charge the developers that are using the Unity engine even more than they already have. When you sign up for Unity, and if you want to go to use the Unity engine, for student and for personal, it's completely free. So if you're a student and you're making something for like a uni project, or you're wanting to make a personal game just for yourself and not have to charge anything for it, it's completely free to use. Where if you want to use it, you know, for individuals and teams, where you want to go and sell the game, it's $2,040 a year per seat, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. I think it means like per account, and you can have a certain amount of people on account. I'm not 100% sure how it works. And then like if you want it for an enterprise or an industry, they charge $4,950. Now that's a lot of fucking money already. Like $2,040 to use an engine is pretty good, but it is, well, sorry, it's pretty expensive, but it's a lot better than saying like, you know, using the Unreal Engine, or if you want to, you know, use Frostbite, which is, like I said, only really wanting to use for like AAA developers anyways. So when it comes to, you know, going to and if you're an indie developer, or if you're just someone, you know, say like me, like I was studying game design for a little bit, and eventually I'd like to maybe go into use, you know, develop a game, I'd go fucking use Unity. Even though it's a lot, I'd be willing to fork out that money. But now they're wanting to monetize it and charge it even more. The way that they're monetizing this is depending on your plan. So it depends on if you're using Unity Personal or Unity Plus, and then Unity Pro and Enterprise are the same things in terms of how they're charging it. So first off, when it comes to Unity Personal and Unity Plus, well, all of them, but at least for Unity Personal and Plus, you have to reach a threshold. Now, this threshold might not sound a lot, but it can be garnered pretty big, especially for certain, you know, if you're an indie developer and you reach like, you know, garner a lot of downloads, say for something like, you know, like I said, Binding of Isaac, is the threshold for it is that it's two things. One, you have to reach 200,000 installs, which is really not that many if you think about it. And then $200,000 in sales. Now, if you reach that $200,000 in installs, you're going to reach the $200,000 in sales. Unless you're charging like a 50 cents for a game, or your game is free to play, then you're not going to. And then I don't think you get charged. I'm not 100% sure how it works on free to play. I've read through it a little bit, but I don't think that this goes through for free to play, because, you know, like I said, the game's free, so there's no way that you're technically earning anything besides microtransactions, which is, you know, a way that a free to game is usually monetized. And then once your game reaches those thresholds, you will now be charged 20 cents per install, which might not sound a lot, but I did the maths before, And just remember, Unity is used by a lot of indie developers. Now, not just indie developers, it also can be used for AAA as well. But Unity is very, very indie developer friendly. And like I said, it's the best for indie developers. 20% per install. Now, if a game reaches 200,000 installs, that's already $40,000 that company, that indie developer or that indie company has to fork out. Now, that's a lot of fucking money. Because like I said, this is not usually for big corporates. This is very, like I said, it's very indie friendly. 20 cents per install is so fucking much. And it's just so money hungry and just so like selfish of Unity to do this. And then what baffles me even more, which I don't fucking get, is that they're charging more for Unity Personal and Unity Plus than the higher class Unities. You'd think it would be the other way around. You think that for like something for Unity Pro or Enterprise, where people who can fork out that money, like AAA titles, who are willing to pay that money, can actually afford to, give money to them. But no, it's actually cheaper if you go to Unity Pro or Enterprise. You want to know how? So if you use Unity Pro or Enterprise, you have to reach a revenue threshold of $1 million and then an install threshold of 1 million installs. And the same thing, if you reach 1 million installs, you're going to reach $1 million, especially if you're charging more than $1 or more per install. But the thing that gets me is that then instead of charging 20 cents per install, they've like now put it into like a weird ass fucking graph where then they will start charging 15 cents per 1 to 100,000 installs for Pro. Enterprise is 12.5 cents. I don't know how the fuck that like makes sense. And then like once you go to 100,001 to 500,000, it goes it a little bit less. 500,000 to 1 million, a little bit less. 1 million plus, even less than that, it goes down to 2 cents. And then for the Enterprise, it goes down to 1 cent per install. That's fucking nothing. Like, and then the 20, at least with with the Personal and Unity Plus, it just sticks on 20 cents. Like, I'm gonna say I get 1 million installs on my game. I make a very successful indie game, right? An extremely successful indie game, and I have 1 million installs onto that game. I now have to fork out $200,000 to Unity. $200,000 that I'm already giving you money for me to use your fucking engine, and now you want to profit off a game that I put effort in to the game that I made. Yes, you put effort into making that engine, and we appreciate you for making that engine, and we are paying you to be able to use that engine. But now you want to monetize that engine and then make money off what I made? What I fucking made with our creations? Are you for real? And you're wanting to say, like I said, if I get 1 million downloads onto my game, I have to give you $200,000. Are you how money hungry and selfish can you be? Now, obviously with this going on, there's obviously fucking backlash. Two of the biggest like indie games at the moment are the ones that are actually speaking out for this and are actually threatening to pull their games and stop using Unity altogether, and actually gonna pull it off, at least from Steam. One of them is Among Us, which is arguably the biggest game of 2020. Like, that game came out of fucking nowhere and just became a massive hit. They obviously have over 1 million downloads. So the fact that, and I don't know exactly, like I said, I don't know exactly which one they would be using. I have a feeling that for a team, especially Among Us started off very, very small. So they might still be using Unity Personal and Unity Plus. I'm not exactly sure how big their team has grown to, but they could be using Unity Pro. But they still have to fork out a fuckload of money. Like 1 million downloads, then now I'm having to fork out, if I'm using Unity Pro, I have to still give you 20 grand. Unity Enterprise, I still have to give you 10 grand. That's 10 grand of money that I fucking earned. And like I said, if they're still using Unity Personal and Plus, they have to fork out $200,000 fucking dollars. And the thing is that, like, you might be like, oh, then use Unity Enterprise. But the thing is that, like, but then I have to fork out more money anyways to pay for that. And it's not like you're just paying for the individual. I'm pretty sure, like I said, it's per person. I have a feeling that it's for. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure how these plans work, but I'm guessing it works how Adobe works. I'm more familiar with working with Adobe. I've only used Unity at when I studied. So I've never used it like in my personal life for myself. So I've only used it through uni, but with Adobe, I've used it for myself personally. So if I'm wanting to pay for a team, I have to pay for that team and I have to pay for that each individual person. So either way, you're going to be forking out a fuckload of money. And it's just like, well, now I have to, you know, to save myself, I don't know, 10 grand, I have to use Unity Pro now. It's just stupid. And like I said, Among Us is one of the games, but another game, and I fucking love this game, is Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb. If you've not played Cult of the Lamb, I hope that they don't fucking pull it. But they're threatening to pull this by January 1st, which I think is around the time when I don't think this has actually gone through yet with what Unity's. They're just kind of putting it in place and just introducing it. But yeah, Cult of the Lamb are threatening to pull their game come January 1st. So they're telling everyone to quickly install their game now, because if they don't install it, it's going to be pulled and you won't be able to buy it or install it. And that fucking game, I love that game. I have so many hours into that game, and it is amazing game. And you know, they have actually come out with a statement as well, which I'm going to read and I'm going to put on the screen. So, you know, the guys who made it, who is Massive Monster, who have made Cult of the Lamb, like I said, a fucking amazing game. And I love those guys, I love the developers, and they're still developing the game and putting a lot of effort into the game. So they said, for those who don't know, Cult of the Lamb is made in Unity. Unity is introducing a runtime feed that, based on the game's installs, our team specializes in Unity games. So what's the impact on us? Well, we have a future projects in the pipeline, which, you know, could be Cult of the Lamb or something else, that we were initially planning to be developed in Unity. This change will result in significant delays, since our team would need to acquire an entirely new skill set. At Massive Monster, our mission has been to support and promote new and emerging indie games. Introduction of these fees by Unity could pose significant challenges for aspiring developers. Quit being stinky, Unity. 100 fucking %. Like, every single one of those things that they said is so true. If you've never used an engine, and you can't just say, oh, just go to Unreal. I've used both. Like I said, I studied a little bit of game design. I used Unity, and then in one of my other classes, we had to use Unreal. Every engine is completely fucking different. Like, the way that they function, the way that you use those, is a completely new skill set. Like, you can't just take someone who is only knows how to use Unity and then shove them into Unreal. You can't take someone who's just knows Unreal and then shove them into Unity. You can't take someone who just knows Unreal and shove them, especially into something like Frostbite, because I've heard Frostbite is the worst fucking thing to use. I've heard that it's insanely hard to use, and, like, you know, people don't like going near it. So yeah, you have to learn an entirely new fucking skill set, and this is going to stop and just, you know, it's gonna, like they said, it's gonna, you know, pose significant challenges for aspiring developers. Say someone like myself, like I said, in the future, me and even one of my close mates have said that, you know, we'd like to maybe develop a game one day, whether it's, you know, us together, or they develop a game with someone else, or by themselves, or same with me. This is going to deter us from wanting to do that, or this is going to deter people who are actually in the mix of making games on Unity and not want to go through with that. Because these costs are fucking insane. Like I said, especially for indie developers. Like, the fact that if I get 200,000 installs and I have to give you 40 grand, are you fucking for real? Now, like I said, I just think that, you know, this is the amount of backlash that has already been seen from this, and this has only been out for a couple days, is just stupid. Like, the backlash is fucking insane, and rightfully so. It should be this bad, because Unity deserved this kind of backlash, because they're trying to rip people off, and they're being like Massive Monster said, they're being fucking stinky. It's fucking true. They're being pieces of shit, and they deserve this backlash. And I really, really fucking hope that they don't go through with this. I really hope that there's enough backlash, and the developers that are actually saying them are going to pull the games from there, the ones that can actually afford to do that they actually do it and they go with different engines because they don't deserve their money. Unity does not deserve these developers' money or any future developers' money. So yeah, that's it from me. Let me know what you guys think below. I think it's fucking stinky, and that I honestly think that I don't think that it will go through. I honestly think that Unity has got to pull the plug on this. They fucking have to. But yeah, let me know what you guys think below. That's it from me. Peace out.